I will never be swayed. You could hate, leave bad reviews. Nothing you say will ever, ever. But I also practice what I preach. I do not judge anybody. I am a very, very conservative, judgmental person to myself, to nobody else. I will never look at someone and say, you're fucking this one and you live your life like that.
I don't care. I don't care either.
No, and I'm not coming for you. I'm just saying, so there's nothing anyone could say to me. I like having a rational discussion like this. You could say it to my face. I think when Margaret comes out, I think that's irresponsible. When Margaret Josephs comes out and says, this is how I lost weight. And it's a whole thing about peptides and girl, there are peptides in this fucking drug. So, to Bethenny's point, when people are like, I'm not on Ozempic, you're not, because you're on the generic semaglutide or Wegovy or so. I just think a Dolores, bravo. David Yontef, bravo. I think with Kyle
I give you credit, I love that you're real.
And I think with Kyle, it's I don't even fault her. I think maybe if Kyle could do it over, maybe she would say something different. I just think Kyle can't now, girl. The train has left the station.
Doubled down on it being, So is Khloe Kardashian. They've doubled down on.
They've doubled down. Erica Jane, no one's really pushed you. So when you're asked, Miss Honesty, I'm honest. I give one-word answers. I'm Erica. I'm about to do a Vegas residency. When you're asked, Erica, just learn from Kyle, your good friend, and just admit it, girl. And then Dolores, this is all good. No one's going to not follow Dolores Catania because of this. And if they do, you lose 10 followers. I will never not be honest with this audience. That's all. It's not for everyone. I'm not pushing it. The train has left the station. Don't hate the player, hate the game. This is what it is. There's also, to your point, I actually agree with everything you said. We all do emotional eating, but there is something to be said. A lot of the people that slip into my DMs that I have referred, and will refer you if you slip in, a lot of people.
Our first sponsor, by the way, fucking Manjaro is going to be.
Oh my God. Patty Stanger, who's on it. She admits it. She said it on my is all the time is why aren't you working with these drugs? This is it. This is your sponsor. And I'm like, I know, girl, tell me about it. She's like, you should represent all of them. But here's the thing. Everything you said, I agree with most, but there is something to be said about I'm 37, I'm 33, I'm 59, whatever it is, there is something to be said about a group of people who just from the pandemic, things have taken a turn and they can't get that. They're trying everything. And that was me. I tried and there are people that slip into my DMs are I was always this and now I'm this, and it's just the pandemic and I'm eating healthy now. I'm exercising. I just can't take the weight off. So I think for some people, it could be a jump start to get them down to their ideal weight. And then you've always had it in you. But yeah. And by the way, if you think that you inject this in now, wait, it's a magic drug. So I had a key lime pie for breakfast, girl. And for lunch, I'm having donuts. And for dinner, I'm having, if you keep eating on this, it doesn't work. The way it works is because it truly kills your appetite. When I started it, I was like, nothing's going to kill my appetite. I mean, nothing in the world is better to me than a large chicken parm pizza with a side of a large pepperoni pizza. So I'm like, it won't work. And the medical professionals laughed and I'm like, trust me. And then sure enough, within the first day, I'm like, oh, wow, it works. So I'm not trying to convince you. I love it.
I hear a lot.
Counterpoint.
People say that. And I know what it's like. I mean, I was so depressed and so desperate. And I did mindful eating, which is not a diet. It's spending a lot of time investigating why you eat when you're not hungry. And the truth is a lot of people don't want to do that because it took me 3 years to master why I ate when I wasn't hungry, why I was overweight, what was really going on. And it took me leaving a job and addressing my dad's death from high school to really get to the bottom of my internalized, eating habits and dislike for myself. I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot to ask for people to do that.
But even if you understand that, I understand that, I was fat in high school because I was a closeted gay kid that didn't want to fuck women. So, I mean, there you go. But so I get it.
That's hard. I mean, that's and the thing is I understand people's desperation because people after I posted those videos were like, you don't understand. I've been obese my whole life. Like this is just a break to kind of get control of the eating. I've been there. I'm sure if I were still in the diet mentality, I don't even want to say diet mentality, but if I were still, I guess, struggling with my weight, I'd probably be doing it too. I just think it's being called now this miracle drug, and people are like, and I'm like, guys, we've been through this before with fen-phen and diet pills and laxatives, and you don't know the long-term consequences. And I just think it's so scary.
This works more than any of those. Like I mean.
Yeah, but fen-phen was amazing till it started putting a hole in people's hearts, and they didn't know that for years. And you know, again, I hope you're right. I hope that the side effects are minimal.
Me
like
too, girl.
And I hope it were. But I also, and
burps that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Yeah. The way it works is the food doesn't digest. You understand that's how it works.
Yeah. It's so slow to digest.
You're not hungry because if you eat a piece of, say we go out and we both have a steak, you will digest the steak by tomorrow and be hungry in the morning. That steak will sit in my stomach. So you're not hungry for a very good reason, because it takes so much longer to digest the food. Yeah.
Look,
I'm
like I said, hopefully I eat my words, but you know, and Weight Watchers just bought a huge stake in being able to distribute. I mean, again, that tells you everything you need to know, right? Weight Watchers doesn't give a fuck if you lose the weight long term, and that's what bothers me about these companies. Everything in society is about making long-term profit. So they want you to be on this for life. You don't find that fundamentally fucked up? They don't want you to really look
I do. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with Botox. Like if you're on it for the rest of your life and you don't want it wrinkles, who cares?
Let's be truthful about Botox. The truth about Botox,
my face ain't moving.
Yeah, but any good plastic surgeon will tell you at the end of the day, if you want really great results, you got to have a facelift. So all that bullshit that we put, and I've done tons of fillers and lip.
Oh, excuse me. She admits it.
I totally. I mean, I've fallen, and I still sometimes look at myself. I'm like, oh, I hate the way I look. But then I have to think about all the other things that are going right in my life, and it's like.
But the difference is just for me, I'm not overly critical. Less is more. I shoot my face full of Botox. I get filler in my cheeks and I stab myself with a needle so that I don't eat and I stay thin. There you go. I'm admitting it and I'm happy. Yeah, I'm no more vain than anyone else in this town.
But Botox now, good plastic surgeons are saying it just props up your face and even droops and droops more to the point it leads you to the facelift. So then what's the point of the facelift? What's the point of the Botox?
To prolong, that facelift until you're like...
That's a $50,000 facelift that most people can never afford. That's my problem with these drugs. Most people are never going to. Kyle, it doesn't matter if Kyle does it, because even when it stops working for Kyle, she's still going to have access to chefs. And by the way, rich people like Valerie Bertinelli and Oprah Winfrey and DJ Khaled, who have access to all these, are still overweight. Why? Because we don't get to what's really
emotional. I agree.
And the average person doesn't realize that, because
I realize that
doesn't make anybody money, because it takes a lot of time. That's all I want people to stop and realize. And I'm not good at articulating.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I got very heavy during the pandemic because of emotional eating and boredom. So I agree.
I worry for you and for other people, because if this stops working in 5 years and all the weight comes back, where are you? I just emotionally worry. Where are you going to be? Now, I don't worry that much for you, because you're a good person in a lot of, you're very mentally stable and you have a lot of hindsight. But for somebody who is dealing with a bunch of shit in their life and maybe borderline depressed, now they're on this. And then in 3 years, we find out, because by the way,